It's all about that super heavy samurai shenanigans. Alright, to the 30% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content in a shifting turn of events this week. Out of the Tetsu Championship, well, excuse me, Next Play Locals, my apologies there, we see Super Heavy Samurai as the most represented deck for the week. You know, last week it was Tier Elements. It was pretty meta-filled, but this time we got a huge shift here. And let me tell you, you're going to be, when you look at this top cut, you're going to take a breather here, you're going to take a step back, and you're going to go, what in the world is actually happening? And I keep saying this in a lot of videos, but if you haven't seen those Super Heavy Samurai scales, they are nuts. All right, like, they do so much for this deck that it is actually, like, crazy to me that they actually made those cards. You know, I'm glad to see that Super Heavy Samurai has ended up on the top of the meta chart. That's a good thing, but man, oh man, at the cost of it being crazy good. We also had Lyrilisk here coming in as a 2 of. Actually, kind of nice to see that too. We also had double Exo Sister. You know, all things really considered in the OCG, it is kind of nice to see Exo Sister finally getting the chance to kind of come back into the spotlight. It's definitely been pretty quiet. We also have a Luber and Friends down here, or Fallen of Albaz and Friends. Glad to see that that deck is still getting the chance to do something. We have Tier Elements down here as a 2 of, which is fine. You know, like, we've seen this deck for the last week or so just be a massive, dominant craze over here. And I mean, obviously, their format is different than ours now, but I assume that we'll probably see the Ishizu package and stuff get cleaned up on a future list. Now, as we get into the 1-ups here, you had one Dark Law, aka one Hero deck, which pretty normal. We had Grapha and Friends. I believe that's Adagnister. We had one of the Valiants, one Gishki, one Code Talker, one Albaz, or excuse me, one Invoked, your one standard shenanigans every week of Runic, one Sky Striker, one Dynamorphy, that's kind of cool, one Tri-Brigade, one Rika, and Naturia, and something else up here as well. We're still going to continue to cover these OCG events because I've loved the diversity that this format actually has going for it in the OCG, and it just shows that, like, when you can see different, you know, sorts of things here, even like in the future of what's to come, that this definitely opens up, well, the cool doors here. Next up here is your top 8 breakdown. Look at that, one Super Heavy Samurai deck led the charge on in to top cut here. I will tell you that this is by far one of the most diverse top cuts that I have seen out of Next Play here. So that's, yeah, Super Heavy Samurai won the event. Spoiler alert, sorry. We had one Gishki Sprite, so that deck is still doing its thing. Let me tell you, even though they still have like Elf and things like that, with the power downs that they've dealt to that deck, the fact that that's still the leading variant is pretty good. Dark World somehow made its way into top 8. I don't know how, where, why, or how, but it pulled it off. We also had an Exo Sister lock into top 8. Okay. Albaz and Friends made it into top 8. We also had Dynamorphia crawl into top 8. I really wish that we had the deck list for that. Some of these, they only like to post top 4, and it's actually kind of sad because some of these more rogue decks would be really cool to see, but that's fine. We also had one Tier Elements on into top cut. That's fine. Can't be too mad to see that. It's a nice thing to still see, even it's going to get created next list. Oh, man. And then we also have, you guessed it, one of your Code Talker decks. So your top cut here, really, really different. And that's a good thing. Maybe this local environment is just so sick of the format, but it is good to see. Now, let's talk about your winning list here. So this is Super Heavy Samurai. Yeah, we did it. We did it. 40 monsters. Now you're going to notice a couple of interesting things here. Yes, we are playing the Soul Breaking, or the Soul Breaker armor, and yes, that is the DDD monster. That is a common pendulum scale. That was out, man, it was an import common quite some time ago. I mean, I don't even remember what it does. I've read it like twice because the first time I saw this show up on a list, I was like, what in the world are they doing here? It's just some extra little lines of synergy. Now, the Soul Break armor is actually pretty good. Let you target a Super Heavy Samurai, equip it from your hand, warrior side of the field, it'll lose 1,000 defense, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is in your graveyard, and banish all of your super heavy samurai, soulbreaker armors from your graveyard, and target one super heavy samurai monster on the field whose current defense is lower than its original defense, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its current and original defense. So get some little shenanigans ping damage on your opponent, and your opponent's going to just look at you and be like, how am I supposed to handle this situation? Well, that's the beauty of Super Heavy Samurai. Nobody knows what's going on. The deck is very, very, very agile now that it has, the pendulum scales to do its thing. And I mean, I guess Electromite and Beyond the Pendulum are both very good cards, but you've lived long enough to see it, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that Super Heavy Samurai took down a W. That's amazing. Second place here is actually Fallen of Albaz. Now, to a lot of popular requests here, this is actually going to kind of show you a showcase of how this deck looks like it'll evolve post upcoming list here for Cyberstorm Access. So you do see that you have Lubellion's standard Bysteel package inclusion in here, because being able to tutor through the Lubellion through the Fallen of Albaz package kind of puts you in a pretty good position here. I also see that we are playing the one good old fusion deployment. All right, so basically everything that's good about the fusion deck, you're going to get the chance to play. And you look down here, your extra deck is stacked with one-ofs. All right, you get so many option trees for this deck that you can go ahead and play the Chaos Angel. I also see that we're playing the Gravekeeper's monster down here as well. This is the oldie but goodie, but once again, your format is like so toxic to tier elements. You are looking to any sort of out that you can bring to the table to give yourself an edge, and I definitely gives you the chance to do it. Then we have the Exceed Encores down here for Purely, because Purely's a menace. One interesting thing to note, though, this event did not have any Purely in it in terms of representation, so it looks like, at least in this particular region, that we're seeing a little bit of a calm down here for Purely, which is definitely something. Trust me, when you're seeing Nor run around, bouncing and being unaffected, it is so annoying. Next up here is our Exosister list. So this is the famous Aratama and Sakitama shenanigans, where you can Aratama to search for the Sakitama, and then you can reveal the Sakitama in your hand to additionally normal summon a spirit monster. Well, you're probably like, well, Robbie, Martha says you can't do this. Well, that's the genius of all of this. You're normal summoning. So you go Aratama into the Sakitama, reveal, normal summon. Then you make the Exosister that searches, and then you search for the Martha. Well, Martha's requirements are you don't control any Exosister monsters, or you only control Exosister monsters. Congratulations. You've now met the requirements to go ahead and get your additional free draw, and you can now actually end on the Magnifica so much easier. That's why when you've looked at a lot of these lists that we've been sharing a lot in terms of Exosister, you've been seeing, we've seen 3 Aratama with 2 Sakitama, and then we've even seen smaller packages here where they're just playing the 1 Aratama and the double Sakitama. It is very, very impressive that they are getting the chance to take advantage of this. I didn't actually think, Modern Era normal summon extenders would get the chance to do anything, but this definitely helps out the whole Exosister thing. This deck isn't even playing Zeus. What does that tell you? We just maxed out on 3 of every Exosister, and we're off to the races. Like, your opponent actually doesn't get the chance to really do anything to this, and that's hilarious at the end of the day. So, good stuff for this. And the last is we're going to look at here is boring old tier elements. Well, the OCG still has 6 names. Well, yeah, they have a lot of different names here versus the TCG, who, just lost a whole lot of them, plus their Shizu package is so much more. We'll have to wait and see how the OCG handles this on an upcoming list, but this is still, obviously one of the best decks. Excuse me, it is the best deck in the OCG. I can't talk it down, I guess, too crazily much here. But yeah, all of your combos is still pretty much the same. You can see the Exceed Encores down there. Everything about this is pretty standard at the end of the day. So overall, for this event, everything was very out there. I'm very happy to see that Super Heavy Samurai smashed through the norm and actually took down an event. I've seen success with this deck a couple of times over in the OCG so far, but this is one of the more recognizable events, I feel like, at this point in time, and that's actually kind of a big win overall here. So what do you guys think about all of this? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.